Hello and welcome to Self Mastery Success. How and this is about how to effectively eliminate self-sabotage, elevate your energy, and lead in your work and life to achieve success. And over here at the Total Freedom Network, we are all about creating excellence. And this is an interview series where we dive deep into the minds of high-performing leaders and industry experts to unlock the strategies behind their success. Each episode offers you invaluable insights that you can apply to your everyday life to elevate your personal and professional life. Be sure to check out the description below for more details about today's guest. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss out on any actionable tips and strategies from these experts. Also, you can access exclusive gifts and resources from our experts that will support you on your journey to excellence. And today's guest is none other than Earl Morrison, a powerhouse leader in the space. Earl, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Earl Morrison. I am the founder and CEO of Leading and Learning with Character.
Yes, love it, love it, love it. And I just want to first say I appreciate all that you do. I know that you're a retired chief of police and you have really a lot of expertise in terms of like consulting classes and experts and mentoring and really leading with and learning with character. And so I've like character is really big for me. And I'm curious. What does it mean to have character, firstly? Because again, that's how you lead and you learn, right? So I'm curious, what does that mean for you?
So your character or your morals are the things that you say are allowable. So it's like, for character, you want to have honesty, you want to have integrity, you want to build that trust, you want to be that person that sets the example. And so, there's tons of words that you can use that you put into character and being a leader. And so it really just looks at that honorable person that carries themselves, in a manner that sets the right positive example for others to follow. And basically, what goes into that is really what you say is allowable. Your morals and your character are things that you accept that are okay versus things that you accept that are not okay.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that was probably the clearest explanation I've heard. So, so, so in your experience, how can leaders effectively change, let's say, because oftentimes what the issues are is like having a negative mindset and not really having a forward vision or outlook on life. But what would you say in terms of leaders to effectively change like negative mindsets, whether they're members of a team or even by themselves, and what specific actions can they take to really adopt that positive outlook? Right?
So, a great question. And so, a lot of times, what I tell everybody when I teach them, or whether I'm mentoring or consulting, is that you got to you formulate a plan. You got to be intentional. And you got to be disciplined. And so, it kind of looks different for each person. But what you need to be doing is that the negative pieces are easy because that's what everybody likes to hear about. They like the drama. Negativity sells. We never want to hear, or we never spend a lot of time on the positive, good stuff that people do and the character aspects. When someone messes up, man, we'll talk about it. We'll spread that like wildfire.
Mhm.
But what we miss is that the way that we achieve a positive mindset is that we're very intentional about what we put in. So the things that we think about. So it's like, okay, what are you watching? When you do you're watching your TV and you're streaming stuff, or you're looking at the news or social media, what are you putting in? Because what you put in, it's going to marinate, and then what comes out is going to be based on what you're putting in. So we have to be intentional to switch that of what the common everyday society tells us, hey, this is good for us. We have to switch that and say, okay, I've got to put in the good stuff. So I say replace that with positive stuff. So if you need to look at different things or watch different things, make sure you put something in place that changes that. But there's a lot of people that like to read. There's a lot of people that have the spiritual aspect and they like to pray. They like to meditate. They like to do those things that set that positive mindset and tone. And then, surround yourself with people that are going to give you more of that positive encouragement and positive mindset. So honestly, it's really, what are you putting in? Because if we change the positives, we're looking at the things that set a positive example. We're looking for the encouragements. We're looking for the books, the people, the things that we can watch and digest and understand. When we put that in, and we allow that to process, now what's going to come out is that product after it's marinated a little bit inside. Then that positive piece comes out. So you look for the good, you look for the positive things. It's easy to say, oh, I had a bad day, right? But if we would just stop and say, hey, everybody's going to have bad things about their day. If I focus on that, what's my mindset going to be at the end of the day? And when I get ready to go into tomorrow, it's just going to be, oh man, I don't want another day like I had yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
But if I change that a little bit and say, I need to self reflect, I need to look at things. And when I'm looking at that, yes, I want to look at what I can do better, but I want to, what was good today? Hey, a good thing? I got up this morning. That's a positive thing. I don't know about you, but for me, that's a good thing, because the
Yeah.
alternative, I it's not so great for us, right? And then, hey, you know what? I got to interact with people. Maybe I affected somebody positive today. Maybe I was something that helped someone else not have a bad day or not have a worse day. Maybe somebody saw something I did in the way that I worked through it. It helped someone, or maybe I got to spend time with my family, or coworkers, whatever. See, it's how we think, that we change that from that negative to the positive, and the more we do that, the easier it becomes. It's like anything else. The more you do it, it becomes a habit. Well, the
Yeah.
negative's easy because everybody's throwing it at you. So you have to be intentional and disciplined to change that, to focus on the positive.
Yes, most definitely. And again, even when you talk about people carrying in the negative into the next day, that residual energy that it lingers on you, and then you start attracting more of that toxicity or that negativity. And I like to say that a bad day is usually disguised as a good test. And so it's like, oh, did you win? Did you pass the test?
Right?
Sometimes we don't pass the test, and it's like you have to reflect on it. I'm curious though, in terms of when it comes to, because this is normal. It's toxicity is unfortunately it's normal in society. It's normal in the workplace. It's normal in any culture. I'm curious, what are some effective what are the most effective strategies even that you've come across or you recommend for really transforming let's say a toxic workplace culture into one that like really fosters positivity? I know you mentioned some of them, but like positivity and collaboration, what does that look like?
So for me, an example I have is like one organization that I worked for. Man, we were just bad. We treated each other poorly. We treated the public poorly when we interacted with them. And so one of the things that when we sat down and did some leadership training, and working together as a team. And one of the things that we talked about is that, you know, for me, I think one thing that everybody across the world wants for themselves and to be able to give everybody else is respect.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anybody out there that said, no, I don't like that. You can disrespect me all you want to. See, I think everybody, even though some people will say, oh, I don't care. I think everybody can say that, if we had respect, I think things would go a little bit easier. And so one of the things I said, well, how about if we tried this? How about if one of our goals is that we're going to respect each other internally? And here's how we do that. We're very intentional about understanding each other,
Yeah.
and we understand each other by knowing what our roles are, and how valuable they are to the team, the organization, and then to each of us. And so some of the things that we did where we focused on that, and so we had people go and sit with other people to see what they did during the day, to learn their job and just understand. I mean, for example, we had a customer service aspect where people had to answer the phone. Well, that's not a fun job, because most people aren't calling customer service to say, hey, you guys are doing a great job. We love you. We like everything about you. No, it's actually usually the opposite because there's an issue that they need to get fixed, right?
Yeah.
So if you're that person and you've had to sit there and listen to call after call all day of someone having some issue that usually isn't your problem, you didn't create it, you just have to help them work through it to get to the solution, right? So what I said was, hey guys, how about this? How about those of us that are coming around here and saying that well, those people, who cares? They, why are they so grumpy and why do they do this? How about if you go in there and you answer the phone a few times and you sit with them? And so what we did was we just kind of did that and switched places, and everybody kind of learned what everybody else did. It
Mm.
created a whole new understanding of the value that each person brought to the table. Because what happens is that I don't want to go do that job. Like in law enforcement, the men and women that do the communications, that take the calls and send us out, no real cop that's been out there wants to go in there and do that just because of everything that it involves.
Yeah.
But sometimes we disrespect those people the most until we start understanding what they actually bring to the table. Because when they're there, they don't have to go do that, right? And so value the people and what they bring to the table, and that respect starts changed a little bit, because now it's like, look, we may have an organization, a business, whatever. Every entity out there has a goal in mind or a vision in mind, and it takes everybody that's involved to get to that desired outcome, that goal, that vision. And so if we value each other, we're going to respect each other, and see, we start changing that mindset from the negative to the positive. Because when I see someone being negative, I'm not going to ignore them like we normally do. I'm not going to just say, oh, that's Devin, he's that way, stay away from that guy because you know how he is. Or Earl, oh, leave him alone. No, we purposely go after that behavior, that mindset, that attitude, and their actions, not the person, the other things, because that's what we need to change from a negative to a positive. And so we're intentional about doing that. And so it's a you've got to bring everybody together. You've got to talk about what issues are, and you got to start somewhere. And for me, like I said, the easiest one for us was, let's just do something I think everybody can get on board with, is the respect. And as it started, you could see the turn start turning and shaping up to change from that negative to positive. And then it had the other impact that people don't realize sometimes. When we dealt with people outwardly, it was totally different. Not only was our tone different, how everybody else viewed us and the perspective was different, because we made those changes internally. Okay. So
Mm.
it's just, you got to put things in place. You got to show value to each other. You got to understand each other, because if I can understand you better, honestly, then I know better how to work with you. I know better how to deal with things that are dealing with you. I know better how to communicate with you. I know what your triggers may be. I know what my triggers may be. And so if we could just get back to valuing each other, respecting each other, and know that no matter what we're doing, we can't do it without the people around us.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. So and that is so important because one thing that I'm hearing from what you're saying is experience. Is like everyone has their own experience, and then it's like you get to experience the other person's experience, and then now that you get some empathy around that, and so you're better able to work without any like emotional conflict going on, because there's a not just a you might know knowing you might know, but when you understand it is like, oh no, like there's some foundation, there's some weight under this, there's something that you can relate to, there's something that you can connect to. And so what you're describing is like that's perfect. And could you share like a brief from another perspective, like another success story that you from maybe your consulting or your mentoring work where you've helped an individual or organization overcome like a challenging environment, like, and even I know you mentioned one before, but What were some of the key lessons you learned from the experience personally?
So one that had I had some people the first place when I became a chief of police that um, they had a really negative mindsets, and part of that was is that sometimes we find ourselves and we don't even know how we got there, and we get treated a certain way and we get a label, and the next thing you know we have that mindset of we don't care about anything, we don't want to put forth much effort. And so for me, one of the things is that if you are required to do a job, then the requirement is that you do that job. You don't get to skate by. You have to have some accountability, because to me that accountability shows value. And so what in that is this telling people, and again, mentoring is like this. When you mentor someone, you're encouraging them, okay, but you're also going to tell them the things that they need to hear. And sometimes we shy away from telling people what they need to hear because their feelings might get hurt.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, it's like, look, I would rather hurt your feelings because that's the way you perceived it, than not say anything to you whatsoever and just let you keep doing a behavior. And so one of the things that I had told a whole group of people, but there was a couple of them that I could tell that it really hit them, was is that for us to move forward as an organization, to be successful and work together, everybody was going to have to let go of the negative junk that they've been dragging with them for years. Because what happens to us is that we pack up our little U-Haul trailers full of all these negative experiences and negative things, and we drag it to with us. And when it's convenient, we'll pull something out and say, oh, here you go. I'm going to use this today. Well, it's from 10 years ago. Well, it's not even in style anymore, right? So
Yeah.
I just told them, hey, look, at some point we have to drop off that U-Haul trailer of negative junk and stuff and say, I want to move forward. The only way to move forward is to let go of a lot of the stuff in the past. I mean, here's the way I tell everybody is that, you don't look back in regret. We all have things that we wish we didn't do, that we wish we were better at. But looking back in regret, all I focus on is that negativity, the failure, the mistake. I don't focus on anything else.
Mm.
But if I can look back in reflection, I'm focusing on what did I learn from that? What can I bring forward with me? So I look back in reflection for the lesson that I can use today, not the junk, not the negative. What did I learn from it? Or what did I need to change from that? And so when they started to process that and kind of change that mindset, and part of that was is I was very intentional. If they came in, they had a bad attitude, I would tell someone, hey, look, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. Now again, some people don't like that because again, you're challenging what they're comfortable with.
Yeah.
They're only comfortable with that because that's the way they've been allowed to do or labeled to do for so long. And so after a certain period of time, you could see that change, and they kind of understood that the responsibility is on each one of us. You see, I can't blame you because I'm negative. I can't blame you because my mindset's junk. I can't blame you because I have a bad attitude. But we want to. It's easy to blame everybody else for the issues that were there because everybody tells you, okay, it's okay. It's not my fault. You want to do something stupid? We'll just blame it on somebody else. And it's like one bad behavior doesn't condone another bad behavior to say that, oh, hey, it's okay. It's not that. It's just that I'm responsible for everything that I think, say, and do. And so making people understand that you're responsible for all those things. You're responsible for your mindset. You're responsible for your attitude. You're responsible for your behaviors and your actions. And then you hold them accountable to that. And when people see that, then that changes. And I actually had one of those people that I could see it on their face. I mean, they were just like, who does this guy think that they are? And I'm like, okay. And so over the course of months and in a couple of years, we worked together. And after we didn't work together, that individual, let me know that said that because of the clean slate, because of, hey, drop off all the negative junk, that he felt like all the labels and all the stuff that someone had put on him, that was giving him a new opportunity, which is exactly what we were doing. Is that the only way to move forward is to let go of the past with all the negative stuff, because everybody has things in there that maybe you didn't get treated as well as you should have. Maybe you did something that you shouldn't have. That we have to allow people an opportunity to do better, because if we don't, then we're not going to be better. And so he contacted me, and I was actually teaching a class. And he sent me a text. He said, "Hey, I just wanted you to know that throughout this process of understanding you and listening to you and getting it, that you really changed my life. That in some ways that he said that I probably saved his life because he didn't see it going in a really good direction, and maybe even taking him to a point of depression and some other things because of that burden and the things that he had dealt with. And sometimes we feel like there's not a way out because we don't let people have an opportunity to have a way out. And so we've got to do that. And so being able to see that and do that because all you did was give them an opportunity to do something different is pretty amazing.
That's powerful. Wow. How can the audience connect and work with you further?
So you can go to my website at earlmorrison.com.
Mhm.
You can look on there. I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. They can reach out. I've written 4 books. I've got the latest one out that we're pretty excited about that's called Closing the Gap by Building Bridges for Organizational and Personal Success. Talks about some of the things that we just did because we've got these gaps in our experience, our age, and say, me on the older end, I have a tendency to want to blame the new generation and they don't know what they're doing and they're this and they're that. And, part of understanding is that they're no different than we are. They were just raised different and taught different. And so just trying to close that is what that newest one is. So any of those platforms, you can reach out again. I can have a conversation with anybody. Like I said, we do classes. We do online stuff. We do in-person classes. We do the mentoring, the consulting. I would be glad to have a conversation with anybody. Or if you got a question, just email me a question or text me a question. All my information is on the website, and we'll be glad to help you get through anything that has to do with that transformation from negative to positive, and help you with your leadership development and growth, and getting out of that toxic mindset and culture.
Yeah, love it. Oh, love it. Oh, and audience, again, thank you for tuning into another episode of Self Mastery Success. Please share a key insight and valuable takeaway that stood out to you most from this conversation with Earl, and share your thoughts in the comments below because we'd love to hear your perspective. And don't forget to click that subscribe button so you know to stay up to date with the latest expert interviews. And you can also click the notify me button to receive a reminder for when we go live with these interviews so you can join us and ask questions in real time. Remember, every expert in this series has a gift and has gifted you some incredible resources and tools to support you. And you can find that in the description below, and even more info about today's guest. And so remember, self-mastery success, achieving excellence, starts with aligning your goals, your time, and energy. And we are here to guide and lead you every step of the way. See you on the next interview. Take care.